Sup, everyone? Welcome back to the fifth episode of the Nick and Sam NHL podcast. Um, I don't think this one will be relatively long again. Um, I don't think really any of them will be super long like the first one, but we're just going to be covering today the second round. And basically just like how we think teams are doing. And yeah, and also we're going to be talking a little bit about the draft lottery, which actually happened tonight, but we'll see how that goes. Probably won't be long segment at all. So, but we'll start with the uh the second round. So, Sam, I mean, we'll start with the West. Obviously, it's no surprise really that Colorado is playing Vegas, but do you think it's that one-sided? Because Colorado absolutely dominated Vegas in the first game.
Oh, I would necessarily, if I was the coach for the Vegas, I would sort of agree with the goalie selection because Fleury did go through a rough, grueling season with Minnesota. But you can't blame it all on the goalie for that game for Vegas because there was some weak sides of the defense and offense. But Colorado's got the best of them. But I feel like the next game will be a lot better for Vegas. But right now, Colorado is the favorite, I guess.
Yeah, most likely because the Vegas had to play a tough 7-game series against the Wild, and they only got one day off. So the game's actually tonight, and it should be starting soon. But we'll see how that goes. I think it'll also be a little closer because they're obviously going to put Fleury back in. But we'll see. Moving on to the two surprising teams. It's honestly like hilarious that Toronto lost and they were down 3-1. What do you think they did wrong?
Toronto, history repeated itself. They fumbled the bag. They were doing good with the Canadians. Until like those last couple games, they fell into like kind of a slump. The last couple games actually, one of them went into overtime. It was pretty tight, but that very last game in the game 7, dang, the Canadians I knew they were gonna win like after the freaking second period.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I mean, you want to say there's a certain problem with the Leafs. Really, it's just that their team isn't playing good. Because you don't want to say they don't have depth because they have a ton of depth. If you look at it, they have a couple old guys and then a couple young guys, and they also lost one of their top Ds, Jake Muzzin, which could have affected it. I don't know. I think I don't know if they'll probably be good next year again, but we'll see. And actually, I just checked the score right now. The Canadians are taking game 1 against the Jets.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so do you think Winnipeg's a little like they've been out of it for so long because this is a long series, or what do you think happened really?
It's technically the reverse situation with Vegas. Canadians, they just got back from a series and now they're winning the game. Vegas, they just got off the series and they're losing the game. It feels like the opposite from the other West series, but I think Winnipeg can get back into the groove of things. It was I would say a decent first game at the start with the Canadians, but then it kind of shifted towards the Canadian side.
Yeah, two surprising teams in the second round. That should be a pretty good series. We'll see. Moving on to the East. This is probably one of the best series except for Colorado and Vegas, but the Islanders versus the Bruins. It's tied 1-1, so it's pretty even, you think?
Yeah, when Boston won the first game, it was a little more. Obviously, the momentum was more shifted towards Boston, but that second game, that was very, very close, and the Islanders got the really good goal in overtime. But I remember thinking about we'd see if the Caps just really, really sucked, or if Boston was really, really good, and I think Boston's actually playing good.
Yeah, the Marchand line is really just killing it for them. But
stoppable.
yeah, but they got a tough matchup against the Islanders. Um, and I wanted to point out even like if it's in the Garden or at the Island, it's super entertaining because the fans are all into it, and it's really fun to watch. Um, because it's not like 0-0 games. They're scoring. It's like 4-3, 3-2. So it's really entertaining to watch it. Um, uh, Surprised? You a little surprised here?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm really surprised. I mean, the first two games were actually super duper close. I mean, maybe the second one you could say it was sort of lightning shift in momentum, but I mean, it was still both 2-1 games, I think, and it was really good games. But I think Carolina can pull something out for game three.
Yeah, they're really gonna have to find a way to beat the Vasilevsky man because he's just been on fire, proving he's the best goalie in the league. Um, it's really showing, and the Lightning are also they're healthy and they're playing really good hockey. Um, but yeah, we'll see if Carolina can get back into it, dropping the first two at home. So that's going to be a little harder for them to catch up. But yeah. Um, so we're going to move on to the draft lottery, which happened tonight. Um, I mean, uh, how could we say we're surprised when the worst team in the league gets the first pick?
You can't say you're surprised.
Yeah. Um, I haven't really looked at the prospects or like who's going to be picked, but we can get into that maybe closer to when the draft happens. But the Buffalo should be getting some good youngster again, hopefully, and he can maybe help, maybe not. But I mean, what the heck? The Seattle Kraken get the second pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's probably been like this for years, but just now I'm noticing. Like, think of it. They get to pick one person from every single team, and they're getting the second pick in the draft. That like they're like the league's trying to make this team a powerhouse. Like, I think. What do you think? The Seattle will be like Vegas or even better, probably. Do you think that?
I don't know if they'll be like Vegas because Vegas had a Stanley Cup run their very first year, but because they got some really good players. But I mean, I have high hopes for Seattle Kraken. I think they can make it to the playoffs. So they have a really good team. I know they're also going to get a good young buck, and they're going to hopefully they get some good draft picks.
Yeah, the one thing really to watch for them is if they're gonna get a good goalie or try and get a young one. Uh, but we'll see. Um, Looking at it, I mean, there's no really surprises here because the sucky teams are probably gonna get high picks because they had a bad season, and none of these teams made the playoffs, so obviously they're in need of some help. Um, but yeah, like I said, we'll cover the prospects and mock drafts that people make eventually. I just didn't want to get into that today. Um, but yeah, we're trying to make podcasts, but there's really not a lot to talk about. The Ryan Reeves situation, cheap, dirty. Uh, I mean, it's just playoff hockey, really. I've just been watching hockey. What about you?
I mean, yeah, the Ryan Reeves situation was actually, I think that was pretty bad. He took it to another level. Didn't have to completely like murder the guy when he was on the ground and all that stuff like that.
Yeah. I know I saw people were saying if that was Wilson, he would be done for the rest of the playoffs. And Reeves only got 2 games, I think, right? 2 games?
Who has 2 games?
Reeves.
Yeah. Did he get 2 games?
I'm pretty sure he got something like 2 or
I
3 games, something like
uh,
that. But I mean, hitting the goalie though, that was pretty bad. And the Grubauer obviously didn't like it. So,
Yeah.
all right. So that's gonna do it for our 5th episode. I know you guys want like long podcasts to listen to, but there's just not a lot going on really.
It's true.
We're trying to break down each series, but not too much because it gets boring. So we're just trying our best here. But really, if you guys have any ideas for us to cover, just make sure you comment them. We're always open to new ideas. And
That'd be great.
yeah. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace. All right, guys. I know this is supposed to be over, but literally just happened. Jake Evans just got annihilated. So this is gonna be the last part. Real quick. Sorry about that. But we're just gonna really just.
Buddy got rocked.
I mean, we'll watch it a couple times. This is pretty bad. And this is at the end of the game. Someone missed the empty net. He's wrapping it around, trying to put it back in, and then Mark Scheifele just took out his frustration from losing, I guess. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's like borderline.
And Scheifele did get a charging 5-minute misconduct, but I don't know about suspension. I mean, you can't really tell from this angle if he hit his head or not. But
it looks like shoulder on maybe like after the extension, maybe hit his head, but
it kind of looked like at the top of his chest a little bit.
Yeah, shoulder on chest.
But I think also his landing, he landed on his head.
Dude, he just like slid in that position after the hit. Like, oh.
Yeah. That's probably a concussion.
Oh, Jinx.
But let's hope he's all good. And if I mean, it's sad he got hurt, obviously, but if the Jets lose Mark Scheifele due to a suspension, they're going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. He's a good player. So is Jake Evans. I mean, he's a decent player too.
Yeah, he's a third, fourth liner grinder.
Gotta get lost though.
Yeah, but we'll hope he's okay. Hope for the best. But sorry about that. It just happened. It just happened. So we had to. I really wanted to I didn't want to wait so long because we're probably not gonna make another one for a while. So this is actually the last time. But thanks for watching, y'all, and we'll see you later. Peace.